Greetings and welcome to another video, and in this one today we are going to be doing another part of Was the Commodore 64 any good at arcade ports? And in this one we are going to be moving into the 1990s. Now the 8-bit computers didn't really stand much of a chance when it came to keeping up with the arcades once we turned into the 90s. So what they tended to do was aim for the gameplay and just do as best as they could with the graphics. Now where the C64 is concerned, obviously we had a major advantage with the sound chip, but I think the Commodore 64 had a bit more to offer as it entered into the twilight of its years. And you know, remember, 1990 the Commodore 64 was an 8-year-old machine. An 8-year-old machine, by today's standards, wouldn't stand a chance of playing anything. So, okay, these games are not going to look the best, but I still think they play alright and they certainly sound alright. So, let's dive into some more. Midnight Resistance is a side-scrolling run-and-gun game that was by Data East and come out in the arcades in 1989. And it's one of those dystopian future games, and you control a member of the resistance movement, and what you're trying to do is rescue your kidnapped family from a drug kingpin. Pretty standard stuff. So we'll chuck the coin in, here we go. Some good music in this arcade game. Now one problem I've got here with this is playing it on Mame, I don't have a spinner joystick. So, I can only fire in one direction. So, hopefully they'll run into the Jeep, excellent. That was fucking stupid. Right, these keys I'm picking up, that's for your power-ups in the future. More on that when we get there. But this is very much in the vein of Contra or Gryzor, whichever version you played. Plenty of obstacles and baddies. Let's wait for him to jump out of the way. I'm full of keys, so I don't need to worry about that. And this is pretty much the first boss. Very short level. Those bullets track you, so as long as you can jump over them or duck under them like that, not a problem. Now I know when this blows up it lobs a grenade out, so you've got to be careful of that. There it is. I'll grab them anyway. Right, now normally I'd shoot up diagonally and take him out, but you can't do that. Fortunately, you can shoot along the floor. Now through this door here is where we get to the power-ups. So you've got full auto, 3-way, which I'm going to have. You've got fire, which is quite a devastating weapon. Some extra bullets, which I'll grab. Nitro and homing missiles. That'll do me for now. So on to level 2. As you can see, those spread shots absolutely obliterate everything on the screen. The trouble I'm going to have here is I can't shoot behind me because of the lack of spinner. I don't know how I managed to get away with that with all those blokes jumping about. Oh, can't get that, and I certainly won't be able to get the one at the top. And now we need to face another gunman. Destroy that. And down here. Well, supposed to get down there. Now this is going to be particularly tricky now. because I've still only got the one direction for shooting. Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to play that with Mame, you need to set up keys for your direction or have a spinner joystick, otherwise it's impossible. But what a great game. Now, Ocean did the version of this on the Commodore 64. Let's have a look and see if they made a mess or if they made a good version. So, Midnight Resistance on the Commodore 64. Well, to start off with, I'm liking the music there by Keith Tinman. Now, this was one of the games a mate of mine got in his 64C pack in, so I did play this a fair bit, but this is the first time I've played it for a long time. Well over 20 years, so we'll see how we get on. I've just played the arcade one, so that should give me a heads up. Right, so straight away, I can actually shoot all round in this version, but the Jeep is missing from the arcade. But aside from that, that's pretty good with the graphics there. Now, I know the Spectrum version is quite highly revered, and I've got to admit, Jim Bagley done a fantastic job with it. But this one, having hardware sprites and smoother scrolling, does look a bit more like the arcade one than that one does. Not to detract anything away from the work Jim done, of course. So, same thing here. There's a gunman at the top and a gunman down there. That was close. Should be another one here. And here we are, coming up to the end of level boss here. Now, from memory, I mean, look how close they fired. I mean, this is one thing they have got wrong on the game. It is very, very hard to avoid those bullets on here. But on the flip side, oh, blimey, that was really close. On the flip side, it's a lot quicker to destroy that than the arcade one. So this is what I wanted to do on the arcade, come up diagonally and knock a load off of him to start with. So we'll shoot through there and see if we can pick up my favourite freeway. So we've got full auto, bullets, an extra life, which is always useful, nitro and missiles and shotgun. So these are randomised, and I was hoping the freeway shot would be there, but it's not. So I think I'm going to go for the full auto, and I think I should grab some extra bullets for that as well, because that should take me up to 1,000 or thereabouts. Yeah, 999. One key. Well, I might as well have an extra life while we're here. Now, as with all games in this video today, I have cut out a lot of the multi-loading, because as we got further into the 64's life, trying to get all the games into 64K, you are going to end up with a lot of rubbish. But doing a multi-load, although if you had tapes was an absolute pain in the arse, it did allow for better graphics, more music, and a better experience. It was just the loading. I mean, these days, we've got warp mode on emulators, or if you've got a real 64, you've got, the fast load cartridges. Why don't I just stand there and get it? So the loading isn't always a problem. If you get a cartridge version to load in Vice, then yeah, that's no loading at all. So heading towards the end of the level. Bit of graphical glitch in there. Yeah, I don't like being right over them when they blow up. That was much easier than the arcade version. This is actually really, really playable. Yeah, what a difference being able to fire diagonally makes. Right, so we've got to get down these last couple here. Oh, blimey. Lucky I didn't land on that fella. Right, take out these gun emplacements. That's strange, why that one's not shooting at me. Perhaps they can't shoot up. Oh, or perhaps they can fucking shoot up. Alright, this is my last life. See if we can make it count. Oh, let's make it count for fuck all. Well, there you go. That is Midnight Resistance on the Commodore 64. I think that's actually a really good version. Alright, you know, the graphics are a bit blockier. The colours aren't so bright as the arcade version. But playability wise, I've got absolutely no complaints at all about that. That is pretty good. Yeah, that comes recommended straight away. I'm going to probably revisit this one. I mean, alright, it's easy to say, oh, I've got the arcade version in Mame, I can just play that one. But sometimes it is fun to see what they did with the ports, and you know, occasionally, playability wise, the ports can be better than the arcade version. Oh, anyway, let's have a look at those two versions of Midnight Resistance side by side. But let's have a little bit of a listen to the music first, because I like it. Super Space Invaders 91, also known as Majestic 12, The Space Invaders Part 4, is a game released in 1990 by Taito, and it's got the classic Space Invaders gameplay, but it's added lots of new features, power-ups, lots of different types of invaders, loads of little cutscenes like this. And, you know, definitely enhanced graphics. It's got that classic Invaders sound. But whereas the original arcade game of Space Invaders, the invaders used to speed up because there was less on the screen to move, on here it's a difficulty curve. Now, you might have seen the little spaceship that goes across the top, the flying saucer, is still there. But now when you shoot it, instead of just getting a points bonus, it also drops power-ups, so you can pick up from little pods like that. So that's my power-ups. You can see I'm firing a lot faster. And the first one I got was the armour. They don't last forever. But if you can get the armour at a later point in the game when the invaders are right near the bottom, you can use it to let them smash into it. Alright, that's the hyper laser I've used there. So as you can see, it's wiped out half the wave already. Very useful. Right, what's he dropping this time? That's another power up. Well, I've got to say, that was shit. I think I'm going to continue with this. One of the things about this one that's quite memorable, which it's unlikely I'm going to get there because I haven't played this for ages, is the cattle mutilation stage, where flying saucers come down and pick up a load of cows, and you've got to basically shoot the saucers and save the cows, and you get a huge bonus. The more you save and the further up the screen they are, the more points you'll get for it. Right, that's another hyper laser. I should have probably saved that till they were a bit lower down. I wonder if I hold the button down, it'll go up higher. Well, it might do, but I didn't make it do that. And we've got expanding aliens here that take quite a few hits to kill. Do have a decent power up. Oh, shields. So that means I can take a few more hits. As you can see, the more of them you get, the more it'll fill up the little shield bar. Right, so now we're on to one of the scrolling levels. It's only scrolling in as much as it's moving in the background. It doesn't really change the gameplay. But now we've got some different, more robot type aliens to shoot at. If you like the original Space Invaders, you will probably enjoy this one. Because the gameplay is all there, but there's extra things with your power-ups and your bosses and your bonus stages. I missed him that time. Do love the sounds on this. Kind of spooky sci-fi music. Dear oh dear. And the aliens have different attack patterns as well. So yeah, this game's got a lot of variety to it for just a simple Space Invaders game. This is one of those games where practice makes perfect. You know, the more you, the more you don't crash into things, the longer you'll live. But yeah, the more time you put in, the better you get. I mean, the Twin Galaxies score for these isn't that high. I mean, alright, you're not going to get on there for the original arcade version. But it is doable. You know, the Twin Galaxies scores are not unattainable for the likes of you and me on this, but you need to put the practice in. Well, I used to play this game in a local pub I used to drink in. For some reason, they got rid of one of the fruit machines and they put in a Super Space Invaders machine. So maybe, before I recorded this video, I should have sunk a few pints down my neck and play it pissed like I used to. I might have got a bit further and actually been able to show you the cattle mutilation stage. Who can tell, but it is a really good game. And it'd be interesting to see how the Commodore 64 version turned out. This version of Super Space Invaders, you would imagine it would fail from the start. Because the publisher that put it out is Domark, and Domark are not known for their quality arcade conversions. I'm looking at you, Star Wars, and Return of the Jedi, to name but two. But this, well, if Domark had been putting games out like this throughout the entire run of the 80s, they'd be spoken and thought of a lot more highly than what they are. So let's get a game going. Another game where I've got rid of the multi-loading. Or at least I will do, because no one wants to sit through loading. So pick a round. And off we go. Obviously, a cracked version. These crackers, sometimes they can't help but put their names in it. So yeah, as you can see there, the graphics, it's using the more vivid graphics, but the amount of sprites that are moving about on that screen, and with their bullets as well, certainly not to be sniffed at. That is really, really well done. They're all nicely animated as well. And as far as I know, not that I'm likely to get there, this version does have the cattle mutilation stage on it as well, which is definitely a bonus. Alright, they haven't quite got the Space Invaders sound right, but don't know, short of using samples, would there be a way? I suppose a SID chip could do it. It is missing the spooky background music though. But yeah, definitely, if you want to play a version of this, they've also kind of narrowed the screen down a bit as well. They didn't often do that on the Commodore 64, so that is nice to see. Giving it more of an arcade aspect ratio. I'm going to come a crop for it. Oh, just got him. And like the arcade, as soon as you get down to a couple of invaders, they go absolutely fucking nuts. Look at that. Oh, got him though. Good shot, Mr. Panther. That one, we got the expanding invaders as well. There's one thing the Commodore 64 could do, it's expanded sprites. Right, so that's a time stop. Which means they ain't going to move for a bit, so I've got time to blast them. That works a lot better on levels without the expanded ones, and trust me to park under a bullet. But this plays really nice. It's very smooth. Yeah, certainly no complaints on this version. Do seem to have a invisible alien at the end there. Oh, he's gone now. Bloody hell. I wasn't really keeping count of my lives there, so I'm not sure if it's a game over if they land, or I was just on my last life. What I'll do is I'll put my name in, and then I'll have another quick go. But I will do the other background, see if there's any different. I'm pretty sure the other background makes it a bit more difficult to see. Still playable, mind. So we'll do that and we'll have a go. Yeah, that one. Oh no, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think if you was an onlooker on the game, it would be quite difficult to see, but once you get into the zone, they're actually not too bad at all. There we go, the armour power up. Hopefully that should catch a few of them out. See what else we get here. Yeah, see, some of those are crashing into that now, and I've just got some shields, so that's also good. Yeah, these armours seem to last a bit longer than the arcade ones. That's very handy indeed. Will it take them two out, or will they disappear? Oh, quite happy about that. But being Space Invaders, even though you have got a variety of invaders and levels and weapons, at its core it still is basic Space Invaders gameplay. You know, it's not going to win any prizes for amazing innovation or anything like that, but you know, I am a fan of Space Invaders. Space Invaders was the first video game I ever played. As a wee 7-year-old, I think I must have been at the time, in about 1979. Yeah, no complaints at all about this game. Especially when that happens. Right, so now it's the expanding level. Well, it's nice to have a nice fast laser there. Well, at least fast bullets rather than a laser. I don't know, what can you say? Domark, of all the people to make a a fairly close arcade game. You wouldn't have put Domark's name in that hat, I can tell you. But they have, and here it is. Let's see if we can get rid of these last few. Actually, I think I'm on my last life, so that's probably going to be game over. So we'll chuck my name in and we'll get back to the title screen. Because seeing as I didn't manage to get there, some of the later levels do have some really, really nice parallax scrolling on them. And they do show a bit of that on the title screen. And due to my lovely gameplay, that's about as good as you're going to get from that. It is a fairly close approximation of the arcade version. Yeah, so on some of the later levels, that nice parallax scrolling you get to see there is actually the background of the levels you're on. Another one that is well worth your time taking a look at. Golden Axe is a side-scrolling hack-and-slash arcade game which was released by Sega in 1989 and designed by Makoto Uchida. And that's the guy that was also responsible for Altered Beast previously. So, good pedigree. So this game takes place in the fictional land of Uria. It's a high fantasy Conan type thing. And what you basically got to do is kill Death Adder. That's pretty much it, really. You need to free the land of Uria from the rule of Death Adder, who wields the titular Golden Axe. So, you've got 3 warriors to choose from. You've got Gilius Thunderhead, an axe-wielding dwarf. You've got a male barbarian, axe battler, who wields a 2-handed broadsword. And the last is longsword-wielding Amazon, Tyrus Flare. And her parents were both killed by Death Adder. Or as Lucosa would say, death equals Adder, and that always makes me laugh. So yeah, we'll chuck the coin in. Right, so to start off with, you get to choose your warrior. So for the purposes of this, I am going to go with Axe Battler. So you start off here, and someone you know, Alex, is, well, it's telling you basically the premise of the game. The royal family have been caught by a Death Adder, go and get them. And then you just literally beat the fucking shit out of everything in your path. Another neat touch in this game was the use of magic that you collect as you go along. More about that in a minute. You know, this very much follows in the footsteps of Double Dragon. You know, and games like Final Fight would be in this vein as well. Like these little gnome, dwarf, elf type things. Give them a wallop when they're on the screen, and you collect the bottles, and that's your magic. As you can see, I'm up to 2 now with my magic. And you knock her off that, and you can climb on all these beasts. Bizarrians, they're called. Oh, let's finish her off. Right, and you can go up on this ledge, although I don't want to go up there because I'm pretty sure I get more of a chance to get some magic here, and it's easier to get it from the bottom, like that. And if you're quick, and I wasn't, you get a chance of grabbing another one then. Oh, blimey. Yeah, these villagers done off yelled, didn't they? Right, that's the end of level boss type things. These big muscly men with their hammers. So I've saved the magic until I can get one of them to activate. That's a life gone. There you go, let's chuck some magic out. That should knock some health off both of them. Oh, twatted in the head with a massive hammer. Have that, you. Let's finish him off. Yep, good. And him as well. And then we go on to the next stage after the campfire, where again, if I can get hold of him, kick this little fucker and get the magic off of him. That's it. Death Adder's in his castle, so now we've got to go through the turtle village. More screaming villagers. But yeah, graphically this game's rather nice. I believe this was on a Sega System 16B arcade board. So, good sound, good graphics. Certainly plays very nice. It's the first time I've played it for ages. Yeah, I'm going to be dead in a second. You've got to be careful not to get totally surrounded or that happens and you get a game over. But yeah, that's a fantastic game. It's also quite an iconic game. I mean, the versions that come out on the ST and Amiga, the Amiga version was slightly better with more colours. And the version on the Mega Drive was especially good. Well, it's definitely one that I like a lot anyway. It's another one I need to go and revisit on my main cabinet, because that really is the way to play it. But saying that, how the fuck would you squeeze a game like this onto an 8-bit computer? Well, I'll tell you what, someone tried. Let's have a look and see how they did. In 1990, Virgin Games decided to squash down Golden Axe and fit it onto the Commodore 64. Now the visuals are great, and the music, well, needless to say, I'm going to be biased because not only do I know Joe and Tell, this happens to be my favourite piece of music by him, so I'm very biased towards that. But yeah, the graphics are very similar to the arcade, like the pencil drawings, although they've added an E to Axe Battler. By the by. Yeah. So, you know, the initial impressions are very good of this. It looks and sounds absolutely stunning. And again, I'm getting rid of the multi-loading. So yeah, a bit chunky, but the characters do look like they're supposed to. Although Axe Battler is now in red pants instead of blue pants. I'm going to choose M for music, obviously. So here we go, and the thing you'll notice straight away about this game is it is pretty much one-on-one. There, you don't get crowded by loads of baddies. But graphically, yeah, the animation's fine. Yeah, they're going to be a bit chunky. The background's quite nice. Slightly smaller playing area to speed things along. So yeah, as long as you don't mind playing one-on-one, it's all there. I mean, all the moves from the arcade appear to be there. Yep, you get the go sign. Smooth scrolling, as you'd expect. There's that little shit bag that gives you the magic. Come here, you. Oh, little fucker got away. Oh no, there's another one. I missed him as well. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I didn't want magic anyway. Right, so now we do some more one-on-one stuff. Really atmospheric music. Yeah, that's the one thing that always keeps me coming back to the Commodore 64 is the sound. I mean, yeah, I'll make no secret of what I think about the SID chip. I mean, I've literally spent hours recording music from it, so it is handy that I like it. But yeah, anyway, getting back to the game. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a bit slow. And like I say, the one-on-one makes it a very different game to the arcade. But the fact that you got all the moves, like the jumping move, you know, and the smacking him over the top with a sword, kind of, it just kind of feels like what it is. It's an 8-bit port of a really impressive arcade game. I mean, I personally would have thought that the Commodore 64 could have managed more than one character on the screen at a time. Well, that one up there is energy if you get him, the green one. Yeah, but I don't know how many sprites they're using for the main character. So if you're using, say, 8 sprites or 4 sprites for each character. I'm just saying that I managed to get on a dragon thing. Yeah, Dave Birdsall, is that brown enough for you? Yeah, but this ain't too bad at all. This is one I've only ever really loaded for the music, because I didn't... At this point, when I had a Commodore 64, I also, well, by the time this come out, I would have had a Commodore Amiga. I'd already had an ST and got rid of that and got a Commodore Amiga. So really, my Commodore 64 at this point was only ever set up and loaded for listening to music. And that's what I would have done with this. Yeah, alright, it's a little bit slow. But considering what it's being played on, I've got no quibbles at all about it. In fact, I'm surprised it's as good as this, to be honest with you. Especially when you look at the massive characters on the arcade machine. Yeah, and if you have played the arcade, you can see what all the characters, you know, the player as well as the non-player characters, you can tell which ones they're supposed to be. They've done a really good job of that, considering that, you know, how much lower the resolution would have been. I've played a lot worse, let's put it that way. So I'm wondering now then, the 2 baddies at the end of this level, how's that going to work? Let's get some magic. I've actually finally got some magic. Or some more magic, I should say. Could have done with more than one though, it was a bit stingy. Let's kick the crap out of this helmet. Fucking have that. And some of that as well. Alright, that's him dealt with. Oh no, there's another one. I think while I'm flashing I'm invincible, so we'll get some of that. Yeah, that didn't go too well, did it? Fuck's sakes, die, will you? Right, thank you. Right, so it looks like it's going to be one at a time. I'll tell you what though, graphically that's not bad. Not bad at all. Right, so he kind of just flips backwards when you hit him. Well, that's not too bad. You know, although more basic, that does look like one of the arcade baddies. A bit less green and a bit more brown, but... Right, so that's him dealt with. Alright, so there is two of them. Right, that's more of a better colour. Well, what hit me there? I'm not sure anyone would get up by being hit one of them sledgehammers right across the bonce. And I didn't get up that time. But yeah, I'm actually fairly shocked that they managed to fit a game that good on the Commodore 64 from, you know, from how much was in the arcade one. So yeah, as long as you don't mind doing it one-on-one rather than fighting groups of people, there is no reason not to have a quick go at that. But I will have removed it by the time the video goes out. But there is quite a bit of multi-loading on it. It's not too terrible. If you've got, if you're using Vice, then you can just warp through it. It's not a problem. If you've got a Epix Fast Loader or an equivalent, then on the 64 it's not too bad. But it's definitely worth a try. I mean, you should never write any game off just on the looks. So, yeah, I didn't mind that at all. Couple that with the fact that Jaren's music is absolutely monstrously brilliant in this game. Yeah, go for it. I would. Well, I did. You just watched me. Now this is an arcade game I'm not really fond of. Sure, it looks nice, it looks fast, but don't know, never been over keen on it personally. But I'm probably in the minority on that. I mean, it is smooth, but it's just something about those big yellow bars across the screen that you have to drive up that just do my head in. So we'll start a game off anyway. Yeah, we'll go with that track. Makes no difference to me who the driver is, I'm shit with all of them.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, that's... Using the outrun start sounds, that's a bit bad. Because this ain't no outrun. It is fast. I have tried this with a steering wheel. It's just not a favourite of mine. But let's have a look at the positives of this game. Well, you've got some massive, massive sprites. And obviously it's using Sega's sprite scaling technology. But this is a bit further advanced. Because the sprites, you know, they all rotate as well as fly towards you on the screen. So the objective is to finish the race in third place or better, and then that way you progress further. And I don't know, it's a bit of a, it's like driving around a roller coaster, innit? With these great, I mean, it even looks like a fucking roller coaster. Typically good Sega music though, I'll give it that. It's definitely got that Sega sound to it. Yeah, that's not gone well. How comes his head ain't broken off? I just landed on my bonce. Still, with the original cabinet, it did look fairly impressive, I've got to give it that. And this is another one of them games that, well, how'd you transfer this onto a Commodore 64? I mean, look at it. I mean, anyone that's seen the Amiga and ST version will know how slow and terrible they were. I mean, the Amiga version, even on an A1200 with a decent accelerator in it, still runs like a brick in shit. Well, I won't continue. I will start another quick game. Because I'm, you know, for the amount I dislike it, it is visually impressive. There's no denying that at all. Alright, track C, straight ahead, green car. Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go!
Well, there's one thing I can definitely say. It's that the Sega Wiboard certainly chucks stuff around the screen well. It's certainly fast. And this level has got an outrun feel to it anyway, with the palm trees and the water and that, and the sand. But like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how this is transposed across to 8 bits. Because there is a lot going on here. You know, when you're playing the game, you're just literally looking at your car and what's coming up. When you look at the backgrounds and all the signs and all the extras that are tacked on here, I mean, trying to get this onto a 64K computer, going to be a bit of a coding nightmare, I'd imagine. I have to admit though, the more I'm playing it, it is kind of growing on me. Although I think I'd prefer to do it again with a steering wheel if I was going to have a serious go of it. But is it as good as Outrun? Is it bollocks? Not for me anyway. Keep getting bounced from side to side like a pinball. It's like playing F-Zero on the fucking Super Nintendo. Yeah, I think Sega set their bar too high with Outrun, because even the backgrounds on this just remind, this level particularly reminds me of the last splash screen on Outrun itself. I've definitely played worse games than that, but I have played a lot better as well in the arcade, particularly racing games. But like I've said a couple of times, visually stunning. No denying that at all. Oh well, let's see what happened on the Commodore 64. So over on the 64, we get Activision presenting us with Powerdrift. Now, when you want to get an arcade game onto a 64 computer, who are you going to call? Chris Butler. Because if there's one man that can turn arcade games into 64 games, it's him. And with this game, he basically did what Dave Thomas did with Buggy Boy. He took the feeling of the arcade game and the gameplay of the arcade game and played to the 64's strengths in what it could do. So here we go. And yeah, it's slower. There's not, there's less colours. It's not as bright. But Christ, this don't half play good. In fact, this plays better than the arcade version for me. For a start, we haven't got them stupid yellow bars going across everything. And Chris outdid himself with this. He really did. I mean, even though I've proved otherwise in previous videos, the 64 is not known for its strength of driving games. But when it did them, the good ones were very good, and this is one of those. Oh, back down a second. So at least once you get into first in this game, it does at least pose a challenge. You don't just get out in front and stay there. Like, cornering actually slows you down, and it does make a difference. Obviously, you've got to try not to smack into the back of these, or they'll send you spinning round like they do in the arcade version. He's done it again. But yeah, for what they are, I think the graphics are perfectly nice. They're not horrible. It's not ugly. And the things on the track and the roadside objects seem to be in parity for a change, because some of the 8-bit computer games across all the systems, you have the car bombing down the track and the track graphics coming towards you at one speed, the opponent cars come in at another speed, and the trackside objects come in at another speed. At least this all lines up. Yeah, it's a terrific job on this one. Got the slopes just right as well there. Although I better get my finger out, being sat in a, well, now 4th position is not going to endear me to getting any further. Nor is that. So like the arcade one, if you come off on a raised section, you basically flip over. I couldn't have timed that any better, could I really? So you can tell when you're not on a race section on this one because you've got the trackside objects. Yeah, I think I've well and truly fucked this, but I'll, carry on. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Yep, this is another one of those games where you really need to practice. Well, at least we got to see a spin round. Yep, I definitely prefer this to the arcade version. I have to say that it's more playable. Music's not too shabby either. Well, at least the cursor moves around really fast when you're putting your name in one of these rotation things. So there you go, that is Powerdrift on the Commodore 64. A surprise at how good it is, really. give it its full title, Iron Man Stewart Super Off-Road, that most people just call Super Off-Road, is a game that was released in 1989 by Leland Corporation. Now in this one, up to 3 players have to race around the track. There's always one computer controlled car. Well, and seeing as I'm playing on my Todd with no mates here, I'll just be playing on my own as the red car. Yeah, anyway, the players basically have to make their way around the tracks, and you need to come at least third, so you've got the money to carry on competing. Obviously first is better. Now that was a money pickup I just grabbed there, and you also get nitro pickups as well, because you've got a turbo button. That graphic that's appeared there, centre right of the screen, that's a nitro, and I got to it before the computer did. Oh yeah, so I'm in front on this one, which does make a change. Money pickup is always useful for souping up the car at the shop in between races. You know, the original cabinet of this was a massive thing with 3 steering wheels on it. I'm playing with joystick here. As long as you set the controls up right, it's actually pretty good in Mame. That god-awful klaxon sound basically signifies the car that's gone over is on the last lap. So it was a bit sideways, but I managed to finish first. How about that? Then you can go into the shop and you can buy nitros, faster acceleration, better top speed, better traction with the tyres, better shocks for control, stop you bouncing about so much, or start the next race. And you could, if you wanted to, pump in a load of credits and just max your car out, but what's the point in that? So here we are, second race. It's not the strongest of starts I've had there. Come on. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Yeah, if you use them nitros while you're turning, it really will spin you into the wall. So I've basically got nowhere for all of that. Because there is an element of collision with the other vehicles. I don't know about adding to the realism, but it does make it more interesting. Now, this game was ported to a lot of systems. I myself used to play it when it came out on the Commodore Amiga, which is a very good version. Come on! Christ, get a move on. Yes, another win. Yeah, what a fantastic game. It's nice to come across one I'm not actually too bad at, I suppose. I'm sure that'll be a different story on the Commodore 64 version. Let's have a look and see what they did. So, Iron Man Stewart Super Off-Road came to the Commodore 64 in 1990 via Virgin Mastertronic and was developed by Graph Gold. And that is a really good rendition of the arcade music, and that was by Jason Page, who is really good at converting arcade tunes to whatever he needs to code it to. Amiga, Commodore 64. So the difference between this and most of the other games I've looked at today is this is not a multi-load. This loads the whole lot up in a single load, which is unbelievable for how good the graphics are on this. So there we go. I'm in the red cart. That's a good start. And it's nice. Now this, for me, stands head and shoulders above the other 8-bit versions. Now, alright, you know, I'm sure the Spectrum owners among you might say, yeah, but it's really brown. Well, yeah, but then the colour of dirt is fucking brown. The reason it stands better for me is because... Oh, come on, that's a steward's inquiry. The reason it's better for me is because all of the cars are the right colour and a different colour. A lot of the other 8-bit versions, the cars were all monochrome, and you'd have like a mark or something above the car to show you which one it was, and they weren't as smooth. If I could keep getting stuck on that fucking bit there. Yeah, so in terms of the looks and how smooth this plays, this is an absolute winner, this version. Where did I come that time? Second place, not too bad. Note to self, must do better. So, like the arcade version, if you've picked up a load of money, you can buy some more stuff. You got the same things there to buy, depicted just with money and graphics rather than the writing this time. So we'll have some tyres, hopefully make the traction better. Track 2. Another nice piece of music. Well, that was a fucking shit start. Come on. I definitely want a steward's inquiry on that one. Oh yeah, helps if you push up, doesn't it? Alright, that was my fault then. Yeah, the good thing about it is once you've pushed up, you don't have to keep holding the accelerator down. Or you don't have to keep holding the stick forward, I should say. Carries on then at your speed. You can pull back to slow down. Fire button for a nitro. This is a really excellent conversion. Still blows me away that the graphics are this nice, all this sound, and it's a single fucking load. I do appear to be very much in last place again though. That's him through already. Come on, get out of the way. Well, according to that, I was third. According to that, I was fourth. Now, I definitely want a steward's inquiry on that one. Well, it's let me use my last credit up, so I might as well buy some more bits and crack on. Right, so this is the first track again, but backwards. Actually, that's the way you go in the arcade. On first time you do this track on the arcade, you go this way around. Clockwise, I should say. Yeah, I can't recommend this highly enough. This is absolutely brilliant. You know, if you haven't got a Mame set up and you fancy playing this, I'd definitely recommend this. You've got a real Commodore 64. It's a must-have arcade title as far as I'm concerned. And if you're a fan of, I don't know, Super Sprint, games like that, definitely you're going to love this. Yeah, that didn't work well. Instant super reverse that was. I'm going to finish last again, aren't I? Well, at least I can't argue that I was actually last that time. that was that. What an absolutely superb conversion. Hectic would definitely be one way of describing this game, but it is good fun nonetheless. Bumping around in jeeps. It's great fun. What more can I say? So there you go, that is another 5 arcade conversions to the Commodore 64 that I think are worth your time in having a look at. Yes, it's only just about keeping its head above water, the old 64, but nonetheless all these games are very, very playable. I shall endeavour to search out some more of the gems from the 90s and put them together in a future video. But until then, I am going to play you out with the superb title track to Golden Axe by Jar and Tell. And until the next video, thank you very much for watching, and laters.